Hey guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto strives to become the strongest vampire in the elemental nations, and got Harem movie. So before we start, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let's start the story. Minato was in pain right now, not as much as his wife granted, but still. Damn you Minato! Speak of the devil. She went into labor 2 hours ago, and he was loathing it. His hand was being crushed under her grip, and he could have sworn she was of some relation to Tsunade. Eventually, their baby finally came, to the relief of both of them. It's a boy, the nurse said. The doctor checked to make sure everything was alright and handed the kid to Kushina, Minato's wife. They had smiles on their faces as they stared at him. He was a perfectly healthy baby with golden blonde hair and shining blue eyes, and oddly enough, whisker marks on each cheek. Their happiness was short-lived however when a masked member ran into the room. Hokage-sama, the Kyuubi no Kitsune has been spotted rampaging and is on its way to Konoha. Both Minato and Kushina paled and looked at each other. Minato's mind started to go into overdrive, trying to come up with a way to stop the beast. He looked down to see that Kushina had passed out from the strain of childbirth and the shock of the revelation. He stared at Naruto for a moment before he realized what he had to do. He picked up the small child and disappeared in a flash. 1 hour later, Minato was now on top of a giant frog. I'm a toad, damn it. He was holding a small bundle and was on his way to stop the Kyuubi. I hope Kushina can forgive me for what I'm about to do, he said quietly. And I'm sorry, Naruto. If only there was another way. Tears started to stream down his face as he thought about the curse he was about to put upon his son. Minato, we're almost there. Are you sure about this? The giant toad asked. Yes, Gamabunta. This is the only way, he said, trying to calm himself down. Gamabunta just sighed. They managed to make it to the giant fox but had trouble due to the 9 raging tails. Minato started a chain of hand signs before calling out the technique that would save Konoha but curse his son. A dark cold aura surrounded the young and the boss summoned before the Shinigami appeared behind Minato. Who has summoned me? The death god asked in a booming voice. He looked down and saw Minato. So it is you. Well, what is it that you need? He asked. Look up, Minato deadpanned. The Shinigami complied and saw the raging fox. He nodded his head for a moment. Very well, he said. He reached forward, sticking his hand into the demon's body and began to pull. The fox began to fight, but was failing. Eventually, the demon's movements came to a halt as the god finally managed to remove its soul. He noticed the soul being pulled towards the small bundle in Minato's hands. You didn't. The soul was finally absorbed by the bundle before a small cry erupted from it. The Shinigami sighed. You did. He reached and pulled Minato's soul from his body and devoured it, as the contract stated. I'm sorry that I had to do this. I truly am. I hope one day that you can forgive me. Minato's eyes shut slowly as he said his final words. The Shinigami, however, was not done here. Minato, you have damned your child for the sake of this village. For this, I will leave this kid a present, should he need it. May we all pray he doesn't. The Shinigami touched the small bundle and it was enveloped in a dark light before the crying suddenly stopped. Good luck, young one. The death god said before disappearing. At the hospital, Kushina was finally waking up before she noticed a couple of things. 1. Minato was gone. 2. Naruto was gone. And 3. Sarutobi was in the room. Old man, where's Minato? More importantly, where's my son? She asked, starting to panic. Sarutobi sighed. Kushina, there's no easy way to say this but Minato sealed the Kyuubi in your son, but he didn't make it. They both died, he said solemnly. Kushina started to shake fiercely and tears streamed down her face. No, that can't be, they can't. She started to sob, the pain of losing her family. She couldn't believe it. I'm sorry, Kushina, I really am. He rubbed her back as she cried. Eventually she stopped, before unhooking herself from the machines and got dressed. Old man, I'm sorry, I just can't stay here. And she left. Sarutobi's sad appearance turned to one of pure evil. There was a puff of smoke and in his place was Danzo. He waved his hand and 2 root members appeared next to him. The job is done, now, get a body, disguise it as Kushina, and place it here. If Sarutobi thinks that the kid has no parents, he will be more willing to give him to me, he said with a smirk before leaving himself. Time skip, 5 years. The day was October 10th. The anniversary that the mighty Kyuubi no Kitsune attacked the village of Konoha, and the said demon was stuck in his apartment. He knew better than to leave due to the beatings he would receive. He only wanted to know why they beat him. He wanted to know if there was someone who cared. Suddenly, while in a trance-like state, Naruto's head snapped up when he heard wood cracking and a heavy banging sound. He knew what was about to happen. He quickly ran towards his closet and locked it. The front door finally gave way and the angry and drunk villagers stormed his house. Where are ya, you little brat? One of the more sober villagers yelled out. One of the few shinobi in the group managed to hear a soft whimpering and followed the sound to find it coming from the closet. He started to beat the door until it weakened enough for him to force it open and grabbed young Naruto and pulled him out into the living room. Ah, Let me go! Naruto screamed. The villagers and Shinobi just sneered at him. Why would we do something like that, you demon? He asked rhetorically. The others began to laugh and soon the beating began. They would hit him with their fists, stomp on him, beat him with pipes, and stab him with kitchen knives. Eventually, one of the Shinobi there pulled out a kunai. It's time to end this monster's life, for the good of the village, he shouted, eliciting words of encouragement from the others. He brought the knife to the amazingly still conscious child's throat and was about to plunge it in when there was an outburst of raw power. I knew it was a demon, one of the villagers screamed. The energy subsided to reveal the now dead Shinobi and Naruto. But he was different now. His hair was now pure silver in color, and his eyes were blood red. The whisker marks that normally adorned his face were gone, and he looked ready to kill. And kill he did. 3 years later, Naruto was walking through the dense forest outside of the village. His hair the blonde color it was the day he was born, and his eyes blue. Along with the whisker marks being back, he had to hide the truth and luckily found that he could revert back to his old self. Flashback. Naruto stood in the mass of dead bodies, not caring a bit for what he had done. Fools, this is what you deserve. Rest in hell, for one day. I'll be down there to torture you myself, he said quietly. He sensed a familiar presence approaching however and, realizing who it was, tried to think of a way to hide this change. It didn't take long, seeing as his want to hide his form seemed to be enough. Satisfied, he smirked and huddled in a ball on the ground and started to cry. Fake of course. Sarutobi was not having a good day. He had more paperwork than normal and couldn't visit Naruto-kun today. Poor kid. Then, he had to deal with requests for Naruto's head. He sighed slowly. I'm so sorry, Naruto-kun. I wish I could help you, but the council just undoes anything I do. He was about to start back up on the papers from hell when he felt a dark, evil force coming from Naruto-kun, he thought, and burst into action. His Umbu followed him as he rushed towards the feeling as fast as he could. Please be alright, he prayed to himself. As he neared Naruto's apartment, however, the sense of evil and dread suddenly disappeared and the aged stepped up his speed. What he saw when he made it was definitely unexpected. He saw Naruto's floor riddled with bodies of both civilians and a few shinobi. He heard a soft crying and made his way over to it to find Naruto, huddled in a small ball, crying his eyes out. Naruto-kun, are you okay? What happened? The old man asked, worried evident in his voice. Naruto raised his head slowly. I didn't mean to kill them, he said, having trouble with his crying. Sarutobi's eyes widened and he enveloped the poor boy in a hug while whispering that everything was going to be alright. Sarutobi wondered what could have happened. Did the seal weaken? Naruto eventually stopped shaking before pushing away and looking at the GGY. Why do they hate me so much? Why do they beat me? Naruto sobbed. Sarutobi sighed. He was debating on telling him, but he knew that Naruto might not take the news well. He looked at Naruto one more time before submitting, the look on the kid's face being too much. Naruto smirked internally when he realized he would finally get answers. Alright, I'll tell you. I just hope you can forgive me afterwards. Naruto, you know how Kyuubi attacked 5 years ago, right? Naruto nodded. Well, the Yondaime couldn't kill the fox. No one could. So he did something else. He sealed it into a newborn baby. He sealed it into you. Naruto looked down, and tears started to fall from his face once more. I guess I really am the demon they all say I am, he sniffed. Sarutobi enveloped him into another hug. No, Naruto, you're not. You may have the demon sealed in you, but you are not the demon. You are Naruto Uzumaki. And don't you forget that, Sarutobi said, trying to comfort Naruto. After rocking back and forth with Naruto in his arms, the blonde fell asleep, or at least that is what it appeared like. Sarutobi sighed as he laid the kid on his bed and had Umbu fix the door. He looked back one more time and saw that during his time comforting Naruto, the Umbu took records of the dead before disposing of the bodies. He felt a roll down his cheek and left. Naruto opened his eyes to find himself in what appeared like a sewer. Alright, best get moving. He started to walk aimlessly, seeing as he didn't know the place. That is until he heard the sound of someone screaming in what sounded like despair. He ran as fast as he could towards the sound and eventually found himself in a room about the size of the tower, and then some. He looked forward to seeing a giant cage with a piece of paper on the front that said seal. I finally made it, he said to himself before walking up to the cage. He stared inside to see a red-headed girl about 8 in the corner, with her legs pulled up to her chest and her face buried in her hands. Why am I stuck here? Of course I deserve to be here. I'm just a demon. I caused him so much pain, she cried. Naruto was surprised by this slightly but walked forward. As he neared, he realized a few things. 1, she was wearing absolutely nothing. 2, she had fox ears on top of her head. He walked up to her before putting a hand on her shoulder. Are you alright? He asked. Her head shot up so fast, he felt whiplash. She suddenly tried to get away. Keyword being tried. Get away! She screamed as her expression turned to that of fear. Naruto just sighed. I'm not going to hurt you, Kyuubi-san. I just want to talk. Is that alright? Naruto asked. She was still shaking but nodded slowly. He walked up to her once more before he knelt down. Suddenly, he enveloped her in a hug, much like the old man did, and rubbed her back. The comforting act was new to her. However, in the moment he did, she went ramrod straight. She eventually calmed down, however, and buried her face into his chest. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. All I do is bring people pain, she silently said. He just continued rubbing her back. No, it's not. It's the villagers' ignorance that is at fault. I'm sure there's a reason you did what you did. You seem too nice to be an evil rampaging demon, Naruto said calmly. She pushed herself away. But I am. Everyone would call me one and throw things at me. And because of me, my family is dead, she cried once more. Naruto shushed her. One is not a demon by what they are, or what they may have done. A demon is determined by the person you are. And you do not seem like a bad person or a demon. You seem like someone I would like to be friends with, he said with a smile. She stared at him for a moment before smiling at herself, and she glommed onto him. Thank you, she cried over and over again. Finally, there was someone who saw her not as a demon, but as a person. She let go after a moment to see that he passed out, and his face was blue. She panicked and suddenly grabbed him and pulled him into another hug, scared that something was wrong. He just flailed his arms around, trying to get her to let go. Secant breath, he wheezed out. She let go and apologized. Naruto, after catching his breath, chuckled. That's some strength there. Now, a few things we have to take care of. First, I think we should see about getting you some clothes. She turned her head slightly, reminding him of a curious fox. How are we going to do that? I'm stuck here, she said as she lowered her head slightly. Naruto focused for a moment before a lovely red and silver kimono appeared in front of them. There was an elegant fox design running from the bottom, spiraling to the neck. The silver lining and the deep red mixed together perfectly, making it appear as if it was made of a rare cloth made out of clouds and spun by a goddess. It also looked delicate, as if so much as touching it would make it fall into the breeze, never to be seen again. Kyubi's eyes watered and she pounced on Naruto once more. It's beautiful. Thank you so much, she yelled, the joy in her voice as obvious as day. He chuckled before picking her off of him. She went to it, and began to put it on. As soon as she did, she saw the area change from the dark sewer to a beautiful forest, and Kyubi was no longer stuck behind a cage. She looked over to Naruto to see him panting but with a smile on his face. And number 2 is to deal with the sewer, he said quietly. Akane, my name is Akane, she said to him, a big smile on her face. Naruto stared at her for a moment. That's a wonderful name, he said, flashback end. He shook the thought out of his mind. He enjoyed his time out of the village, and sneaking out wasn't hard. He would do this every so often, whether it was for a break from the village, or in hunt of blood. Yes, blood, he was a vampire. Granted, that didn't mean the sunlight hurt him, or garlic was a bane. Granted, his advanced sense of smell didn't help much though with garlic. He could eat normal food if he wanted, but every so often, he would leave and search for someone with blood that matched his preferences. They didn't die or turn or anything like that, but they would be left in a momentary daze. He had to be careful though. He preferred his blood sweet, with some innocence mixed in. Right now, however, he was just sitting in a tree, resting. That is until he heard a scream. He jumped from his branch and ran in the direction the scream seemed to have come from to encounter a sight that, without his intervention, would end up being like a scene from a slasher movie. In front of him was a rock demon attacking a girl a little older than him, 13 he'd say. It was trying to eat a poor girl, and so Naruto did the only thing he could. He snapped into action. Revealing his true self, he blurred out of view, running at the demon at incredible speeds before kicking the side of the demon's head, sending it flying through 20 or so trees. He stood there, waiting for it to come back to attack. He didn't have to wait long as the beast soon lunged out of the wooded area and jumped straight at him. Naruto smirked however, and just as the demon was within reach, he grabbed it by the neck, slammed it into the ground, and started to beat its face in. After a moment he stopped, seeing as he had left the demon's head as a stain on the grass. He figured he should help the girl. He walked over to her and offered her his hand. Are you alright? He asked. She nodded and stood up, with his help though. Thank you for saving me. I was afraid that this would be the end of me, she said. She had short pink hair that curved forward somewhat on the sides of her face. Her face was smooth and looked like it belonged to that of a goddess. Her body was curved and her outfit accented the fact. Her skin was slightly pale, making her look even more beautiful, and her eyes were a golden yellow. Naruto bowed before he decided to introduce himself. I am Naruto Uzumaki. Who might you be? He asked, trying to be as polite as he could. I am my name. I am a wind elemental, she said as the wind picked up around them somewhat. She suddenly bowed in front of him. For saving me, elemental law states that you are now my master. How may I serve you, Naruto-sama? Naruto was taken aback by this. This isn't needed. I just did what was right. There is no need for you to serve me. He waved his hands in front of him, with an awkward smile on his face. But it is. Elemental law dictates that if someone that is not an elemental saves someone who is, the elemental must be the person's servant. As such, I must follow your every command, no matter what it is, she said strongly. He sighed before conceding defeat. He turned back into his human form before nodding. Fine. Well, I guess I should at least tell you what I am. I am a vampire, he said with a grin. She was now taken aback. A vampire, wow. You must be very powerful then, she said. Naruto chuckled. By human standards, yes, but in terms of demon standards, I'm still pretty weak, he admitted. Even still, you are my master and may do whatever you wish to do with me, she said. He sighed once more. Well, let's go then. It's so early in the day and I'm already exhausted. She nodded before following him. When they reached the gates of Konoha, Naruto hid his presence. Alright, the same guards are still on duty, so this won't be hard, he said to himself with a grin on his face. Alright, we're going to have to jump over the wall right there, he said, pointing over to a part of the wall a little farther from the post. My name suddenly shrunk down in size before sitting on his shoulder. Naruto nodded before releasing his true form again and started running and, with a burst of speed, disappeared from sight only to appear on the other side. He turned back into his human form and headed home. When they finally made it, my name jumped off of his shoulder before returning to normal size. She looked around for a moment and was slightly amazed at the place. It was pretty big, but not too big. It had that feel that made you just want to lay down and forget the stress of the world. So, I'm going to chalk your size changing to you being an elemental, Naruto said, in which my name simply nodded. Well, let's get you a room. They walked up a flight of stairs before Naruto opened a door to reveal an empty room. Well, it had a bed, a dresser, a mirror, a bathroom, and a closet. But other than that, it was bare. I guess you can have this room. It is yours to do with as you please, Naruto said before walking down the hallway and entering what she assumed was his room. I'm going to take a small nap. Get comfortable, seeing as you live here now. With that, he disappeared from sight. Naruto stirred for a moment. Naruto-sama, wake up. He didn't know what he was hearing, but he opted to roll on his side, hoping that whatever it was would stop and let him sleep. Naruto-sama, it's time to get up. You don't want to miss breakfast now, do you? He heard the voice again and at the mention of food, sprang to life. When he looked around, he saw Mineem sitting on the side of his bed giggling somewhat. So, wait, it wasn't a dream? He asked, only for her to shake her head. Great. Well, I'm up, so just let me change and I'll be right down. She nodded before disappearing behind the door. He went up to his closet and took out his normal outfit, a black t-shirt with black baggy pants. It was nothing special, but it worked for him. After breakfast, Naruto walked up to Mineem. You don't have any clothes other than what you're wearing, do you? He asked. She shook her head. I knew it. Come on, we're going shopping. He went back up to his room before putting on a dark, hooded cloak. When he got back downstairs, he flipped the hood up before nodding. The two were now walking through the streets of Konoha. Naruto didn't shop much, so he was looking, trying to see a place that would work. Eventually, he found just that. It was a small shop, but it seemed to fit the job nicely. The two walked in and took note of the store. There were a variety of outfits, from kimonos, to battle gear, to even swimsuits. All for women, of course. Just look around and grab whatever you like, Naruto said quietly. Mineem nodded before heading off. After a bit of waiting near the register, he finally saw Mineem come back, but he wasn't expecting the outfit she chose. No, just no, he said adamantly. She was holding a maid outfit, and no normal one at that. It was one of those that tended to be used for bedroom pleasures, as he put it. She cocked her head to the side. Why not, master? I thought you wanted me to pick out whatever caught my eye, she said. Naruto sighed, realizing his mistake. So you want this one? She nodded. Fine, but we're getting a regular outfit too. He took the maid costume from her before suggesting a kimono. There were plenty after all. She eventually came back with a couple of kimonos, each of a different color. That's more like it. Now, let's buy this and get out. He put the maid outfit and the kimonos, as well as some undergarments, on the counter, and waited for the clerk. They didn't have to wait long. A woman who appeared to be in her late teens walked up to the counter and smiled at the two. Hi, is this all? Naruto nodded. Alright, your total is $73.72. You two are lucky you got here when you did. We have to shut this place down today. Why is that, miss? Naruto asked, his curiosity getting the better of him. The woman sighed. We can't afford to keep the place open, she said. Naruto frowned. Well, I can take care of that. How much for the place? Naruto asked. The woman looked quite shocked. Are you serious? Naruto nodded. She pulled out a slip of paper. Naruto took it and stared at it for a moment before pulling out his wallet. He took out his checkbook and wrote the amount needed and signed it. Now, who is this going out to? He asked. Mina Hazura, she said. Naruto nodded before he finished signing the check. Here you go. This should cover everything. Now, I hope you keep this place open. I had some trouble finding this place alone. I would hate to have to search for a new place, he said. She took the check and nodded, trying to keep calm. This man just walked in here, bought the place from her, and told her her business was safe. Thank you? I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Naruto pulled down his hood. Granted, he released his true form and hanged himself to look older, and looked at her. The name is Hashashi Kuroma. She nodded before going to the back. My name looked at him strangely. Naruto-sama, why did you lie to her? She asked. Naruto just sighed. Because if she knew who I was, things wouldn't be good. I'm not that well liked here. And even if she didn't mind me, if the villagers found out who now owned the place would be run into the ground. She continued to stare at him, accepting as to why he lied, but now she had another question. The woman came back into the shop and smiled. Thank you, Kuroma-san. Naruto held up his hand. Just call me Hashashi. He smiled. Alright, Hashashi, thank you so much. Please come back again. Naruto nodded and waved before putting his hood back on and leaving. Alright, now that is settled, anything else we should do? My name shook her shoulders. Well, let's go get something to eat, Naruto said after looking at his watch. Naruto went into an alley for a moment before releasing the henge and turned back into his human form. The two then made their way to a place Naruto knew well. The two were now standing in front of the Ichiraku ramen stall. Naruto proceeded to walk in and pulled his hood down. As he did so, an old man behind the counter spotted him and smiled. Ah, Naruto, the usual? Naruto nodded. My name just sat next to Naruto. Naruto-sama, what is this place? She asked. Naruto chuckled. This place is Ichiraku's ramen stall. I used to frequent this place quite often, but I haven't been able to stop by in a while. Naruto explained. Tsuchi looked at him oddly. Did she just call you Naruto-sama? He asked. Naruto chuckled lightly but nodded. Alright then, why? Because he is my master, and can do with me as he pleases, my name stated. Tsuchi stared at my name before suddenly looking at Naruto, and started laughing. Not for long, however, seeing as a frying pan suddenly made contact with the top of his skull. He promptly fell to the ground unconscious. Hello, I am, Naruto said, staring at the downed form of the shop owner. Hi, now tell me, why is she saying you're her master? She asked sweetly, but you could tell that if he didn't answer correctly, it was going to cost him. Naruto started to panic slightly. It was yesterday. I was sitting in a tree, resting when I heard a scream, so I ran off towards the direction it came from to see her getting attacked. I did the first thing that came to mind and kicked the attacker in the head and sent him off of her. If you can't tell, he's bending the tail. The guy stood up and jumped at me, but I managed to grab him by the throat and slammed him into the ground before beating his face in. After I finished with him, I walked over to my name here and helped her up. After we introduced ourselves, she bowed to me before stating that I was now her master for saving her, he said, trying not to get on her bad side. She looked at him with a scowl on her face. Yeah, right. What really happened? She asked one more time. Naruto-sama is telling the truth. If it weren't for him, I would be dead, my name said, trying to stop the woman from attacking her master. Really? I am asked warily. My name nodded. I am sighed before putting down the frying pan and smiled. Well, just don't do anything you would regret, she said menacingly. Naruto nodded his head fiercely. Sure, he could easily reveal his true form and kill her, before pissing on the corpse, but he saw her kind of like a sister. Don't worry, I wouldn't do something like that, Naruto said. Tsuchi chose this moment to get up. Don't worry, I am Chan. Naruto here is still 8 after all. I am conceited, seeing her dad's point. Now on to that order. And what would you like? My name was it? She nodded. I don't know, she said. Well, how about miso ramen then? It couldn't hurt, the old shopkeeper said. 5 minutes later, the two walked out with the order. 2 pork ramen and a miso. After they placed the food in front of the two started eating. After they finished, Naruto paid and the two left. Ayam looked at her father. Do you really think Naruto managed to do what he said? I mean, I could believe the kick, but grabbing the person by their throat and beating them. Ayam left the sentence hanging. The old chef sighed. I honestly don't know anymore, he responded. With Naruto and Mainim, the two were on their way home, both with thoughts troubling them. What did Naruto-sama mean when he said he was disliked by the village? Were Mainim's thoughts. Man, Ayam is scary as shit. Damn, note to self, watch back near Ichiraku. Were Naruto's thoughts. They finally managed to make it home before Mainim finally asked the question on her mind. Naruto-sama, why did you say the villagers treat you badly? She asked. Naruto sighed. He had actually expected her to ask. It's because I am the container of Akane, the Kyubi no Kitsune. Mainim looked shocked. So that's what happened to Akane. A lot of people were wondering. Some even thought she was dead, Mainim said. Naruto shook his head. No, she is very much alive, but she's still stuck inside me, he said. Now, any idea what to do now? The next day, Naruto's wake-up call is pretty much the same as the last one. However, when he opened his eyes, he saw Mainim in the maid outfit. He did the first thing that came to mind. He was sent flying via nosebleed and fainted from blood loss. He may have been 8, but being a demon had some effects, like hitting puberty early. Oh, how he loathed it. He began to stir before standing up. Ugh, did anybody catch the number of that bus? He asked before shaking his, now pounding, head. My name giggled before she bowed. It is time to get up, master. You have to go to the academy today, correct? Naruto nodded. He got dressed before joining my name downstairs for breakfast. After breakfast was over, he grabbed his coat and was about to leave when my name shrunk herself and climbed in the cloak. I am your servant and will follow you always, was the only thing she said. Naruto just shrugged as the two left for the academy. Once the two made it there, Naruto hopped in through the window and took the nearest seat to him. 5 minutes after he got there, he was the first one. I might add, one Sasuke Uchiha walked through the door, a smile plastered onto his face. Hello, Naruto-kun, he shouted. Naruto simply waved back. How have you been, Sasuke? Naruto asked. Good, you? Good. Had a weird-ass weekend, and I seem to own a business now. Sasuke laughed. What did you do, train? Yeah, my dad taught me the fireball, Sasuke said energetically. So, tell me about this weird-ass weekend, Sasuke said. Sasuke was arguably Naruto's best friend, and they spent quite a bit of time together. Their conversation was cut short. However, when Irika Yumino, the class instructor, walked in, everybody quiets down. Now, today, we are going to have a sparring tournament, so everybody outside. The students listened without argument. This tended to be a favorite among the class. When they all made it, they saw a chart with the matches set up. Naruto was up first against Kiba. This was going to be good. Naruto put up his hood once more before revealing his true self. He waited for Kiba to make the first move, and the moment he did, Naruto disappeared only to end up behind Kiba. He sent his elbow into the kid's spine, temporarily paralyzing him. W winner, Naruto Uzumaki, Irika shouted. 30 seconds and Naruto already won his match. Naruto reverted to his human form just before pulling his hood down. He fell asleep standing up, waiting for his next match. His next couple of matches weren't much, just some random students. Eventually, Naruto and Sasuke were the only two left. Naruto did the same with Kiba, waiting for the first strike. Sasuke ran at Naruto at high speeds, for an academy student anyways. Naruto grabbed his punch before shifting the momentum and sending a punch into Sasuke's stomach, sending him flying out of the ring. Naruto didn't even use his true form. He just got lucky that he managed to send Sasuke out. After the tournament ended, the two met up and found a deserted place to eat lunch. So, plan on telling me about your weekend now? Sasuke asked. Naruto put down the sandwich he was eating before starting. My name, come out. Sasuke was confused for a moment before he saw a little girl pop out of his cloak before growing in size. Sasuke was left wide-eyed. This is my name. My name nodded towards Sasuke before sitting next to Naruto. So, what's her story? Sasuke asked. He was shocked, but not surprised. Simply put, I saved her. She vowed to serve me for the rest of my life and that's that. Sasuke nodded at the vague explanation. Alright, but what about the outfit? Sasuke asked again. I had nothing to do with it. For some reason, she chose it. Sasuke just stared for a moment before he continued eating. During the time he's known Naruto, too many weird things have happened, and he just stopped asking questions. For instance, there was this one time he saw Naruto talk to a guy with a bowl cut, bushy eyebrows, and green spandex. He shivered at the image. Master, it is almost time to head back to the academy, my name said. Naruto nodded as she shrunk back and hid in his cloak once more. Naruto and Sasuke made their way back to the academy and took their seats before Naruto fell asleep, already knowing the subject, history. He woke up when class was over and jumped out the window before heading to his news shop. He took the same appearance he did that day and walked in, my name right behind him. As soon as he entered, he saw Mina. Hello, Mina-san, how are you? He asked. Fine, I'm surprised to see you here so soon, she admitted. Naruto chuckled. I forgot something yesterday. My name. Go get whatever it was you saw. He waited a moment before he saw her come back with an apron and some stockings. Naruto's brain fried. This is what you saw. Really? Alright, just please wear clothes underneath. Seeing you in the maid outfit this morning messed me up enough. She nodded before Naruto put the items on the counter. Sometimes he couldn't help but think she was trying to mess with him. The two left and walked around aimlessly, until they came upon a bookstore, and saw a man with gray, gravity-defying hair, a mask, and A8 covering his left eye. When he saw the book the man was looking at, he grew curious. Excuse me, sir, what book are you looking at? Naruto asked. Oh, the newest in the series. Unfortunately, I lost all my money in a bet so I can't buy it yet, the man said before returning to the window. Naruto walked in, bought the book as well as the first volume, to find out what it was about, and some other books that caught his eye. Believe it or not, he was doing pretty well financially. He walked out before tossing the book to the man. Now you owe me, Naruto said before disappearing. The man did the only thing he could think of. He started to cry at the man's generosity. He opened the book, and the pages seemed to glow. Oh my kami, he said to himself before squealing in delight. Naruto opened up the book and became entranced in it. Sure there was smut and all, but the story was gold. By the time he finished, the sun was going down. He sighed and walked home, having told Minim to go home early. As he made his way to his house, however, he passed the Uchiha district only to smell blood. Knowing that something bad was happening, the stench of blood was never good, he revealed his true form and hopped into the district. As he continued searching, he eventually saw bodies everywhere, even one impaled on a weather vane. He started to check homes to see that not even the children were spared. He heard the sound of clashing metal and took off in the direction it was coming from. When he made it, he saw Itachi Uchiha standing over Fugaku Uchiha and Makoto Uchiha, the former being the clan head. He noticed, luckily, that Makoto was still alive. He then noticed that Sasuke had entered the room. Seeing Itachi raise his sword, about to finish Makoto, he sprang into action. He grabbed the blade with his bare hands and punched Itachi in the gut, sending him flying across the room. Naruto held the sword in his hand before snapping it in two. Sasuke looked up to see the cloak that he had seen his best friend wear. But when he looked up, he saw a man with silver hair and piercing red eyes. Sasuke, Makoto, are you two alright? Naruto asked. Yes, but who are you? Makoto asked. Hashashi Kuroma, he said. Now, Itachi, why are you doing this? Naruto asked. To test my power, he said after standing up. Naruto smirked and disappeared before appearing in front of Itachi and bringing his knee into his gut. Itachi coughed up blood and his vision hazed. Wrong answer, Naruto announced. Itachi frowned before activating his Manjikyu Sharingan. Tsukuyomi, he said, looking into Naruto's eyes. However, when nothing happened, he was shocked. It was the ultimate. How did it not work? Genjutsus do not work on me, Naruto said before grabbing Itachi and sending him through the roof. He jumped through the hole and followed him only to see the man gone. He jumped back down to join the others, a frown on his face. He got away. But at least he didn't kill all of you, Naruto said. When he looked at Sasuke, he saw a shroud surrounding him, and so he proceeded to walk up to the boy. A shape-shifting seal? He asked himself before pressing his hand on Sasuke's forehead and announcing Kai as Sasuke's features changed. After the process was done, no longer was there a male there, but a female. And this came as a shock to Naruto. Sasuke looked at herself and panicked before putting her hands on her chest and focusing. She soon turned back into a male. Please don't do that again. And please don't tell anyone, Sasuke pleaded. Naruto nodded, respecting his wishes. Alright. I'm sorry though. I wish I could have stopped some of this. So many dead, he muttered before disappearing. When he got home, he went into his room and passed on his bed. 3 days later, Naruto was waking up, this time on his own, and he was hating it. How he wanted to sleep in, but, alas, after the Uchiha massacre, the academy has been closed and is finally reopening today. He sighed before getting dressed and heading downstairs. When he made it to the kitchen, there was Minim cooking breakfast, in nothing but the apron and stockings he bought for her. He was sent flying an air blood rocket, and hit his head on the fire extinguisher. Minim heard the ruckus and turned around to see Naruto laying on the ground in a pool of blood. Naruto-sama, she yelled out before running over to his side. Are you alright? She asked worriedly. She put his head on her lap and after a couple of minutes, he opened his eyes. What he saw was Minim leaning over him, and due to her wearing nothing but an apron, he managed to see her chest, and she was well developed. He passed out after having yet another nosebleed. However, something seemed wrong. Naruto-sama? Naruto-sama, Minim screamed. Naruto was pale, and was suffering from the blood loss of 2 giant nosebleeds. Minim, damn, I lost too much blood. Naruto chuckled silently. I can't believe it. Beaten by a nosebleed. I never thought that would happen. Minim, panicking, leaned over, putting his mouth at her neck. Bite now, she said. Naruto was reluctant but complied. He opened his mouth wide and let out his fangs before biting. Minim's eyes started to glaze over and the color was returning to his face. After a moment, he stopped. Any more and she would have ended up in the same boat as him. Luckily, he managed to recover enough blood to stand up before picking up the now unconscious girl and shining to the hospital. He made sure to hide his features before running in. Help, somebody, he screamed out. A doctor, hearing the screams, came out to see him holding her. He quickly took her before asking what happened. I don't know. I was at home walking down the stairs to see her lying in a pool of blood, he said, panicking. Now, if there was one thing Naruto was good at, it was acting. The doctor hurried off with her, Naruto not far behind. The doctor went into an empty room before laying her on a bed and checking her vitals. She's weak. He left the room, leaving Naruto and a nurse in the room. He soon came back with a blood bag and hooked it up into her arm. Alright. No physical injuries, any illnesses? Naruto shook his head. The doctor sighed before checking her and noticed 2 bite marks on her neck. What the hell? He looked closely. It can't be. Sir, do you know anything about this? He pointed towards the marks. Naruto shook his head. What is it? Naruto asked. It appears to be bite marks. Sir, please wait outside, the doctor said. Naruto complied and left. 1 hour later, Naruto was sitting in a chair, waiting for the doctor to come out. I should have controlled myself. Now look at this. I'm just glad I stopped when I did, or else I might have killed her. Naruto sighed. No use dwelling over the past. Eventually, a nurse came out. Sir, you can come in now, she said. Naruto followed her inside the room to see her hooked up to an IV and a heart monitor. She opened her eyes slowly and looked at him. Are you alright, master? She asked before falling asleep. A tear slipped down his cheeks. She shouldn't be in this bed. He felt worse knowing he was the one who put her in it. He sat down in a chair next to her and stared. It isn't right. Damn it. I have got to control myself from now on to her. She was doing her job. By letting him drink her blood, she managed to save him from blood loss. But now she was in the situation he would have been in. He gripped his fists, anger overwhelming him. He stood up before brushing a stray hair off of her face, before a smile graced his lips. He then jumped out of the window. He had to make it up to her, somehow. During the time he spent with her, he found out that her favorite flower was a blue rose. He ran off to Yamanaka Flowers, after overhearing Ino talk about the place before. When he made it to the place, he walked in to see Ino standing at the register beside her dad. He pulled down his hood. Hello, how may I help you? Inoichi, the owner of the shop and Ino's father, asked. Ino just looked at him strangely. Naruto? Is that you? Ino asked. Shit, I forgot to disguise myself. Hello, Ino, he said, trying to ignore her so he could order. He still had some other things to prepare. Why weren't you at the academy today? She asked. Naruto sighed. A friend of mine is in the hospital, Naruto said. Now, could I buy some flowers now, please? Naruto asked. Inoichi nodded. What kind? Blue roses, Naruto responded. Inoichi nodded before going into a separate room. Naruto could only guess what the room was, however. He soon came back into the main room with a frown. I'm sorry, but all I have are some seeds at the moment. Sorry. Naruto sighed in frustration. Alright, how much? Naruto asked. $5. Naruto pulled out his wallet and placed the money on the counter, took the seeds, and left. Have a nice day, Inoichi said. Naruto walked into the forest with no idea what to do with the seeds. It would take forever for them to grow. He opened the pack before burying a couple of the seeds. After a minute or so, he grew impatient and decided to try to force the seeds to grow. Hey, if that Hashirama guy could do it, why not him? However, due to him always sleeping in history, he never knew that it was because of a bloodline. Not that that would stop him. After focusing a decent amount of chakra, the roses began to break soil before blooming. Naruto smirked and picked the flowers before heading off. He soon found himself in a bakery, this time making sure to hide himself as Hashashi. Hello, how may I help you? The baker asked, after noticing Naruto. Well, a friend of mine is in the hospital. Naruto was cut off. Say no more. What kind of cake do you want? I'll take care of the rest, he said. Chocolate. The baker went into the back room and, after a couple of minutes, came out with a cake that said welcome home. Alright, now, what is your friend's name? The baker nodded before walking with precision and showed the cake to Naruto again. Now it had floral designs and the message, with my name's name on it. Wow, not bad. I will definitely be coming back here, Naruto said before paying for the cake. Alright, flowers, check, cake, check. What's next? Oh yes, now, to take care of dinner. My name was finally released and Naruto opted to carry her, much to her embarrassment. When they got home, Naruto opened the door and put Minim down. He had her follow him into the kitchen. Surprise, Naruto said, a small smile on his face. He had a banner set up that said welcome home Minim and there were her favorite flowers on the table, not to mention her favorite foods. I'm sorry Minim-chan. I hope I can make it up to you, he said. She threw her arms around him and started to cry. You already did, Naruto-sama, she said. Well, better not let this food go to waste. Besides, I even got dessert, Naruto said. 5 years later, Naruto had spent more time with Sasuke ever since the massacre, and he would even visit him and his mom every once in a while at their compound. Naruto was the only one Sasuke would talk to. Hell, Naruto saved his ass multiple times from fangirls. Once, they jumped at a cornered Sasuke only for a shield of pure wind to stop them, courtesy from Minim. Naruto found out a year after meeting Minim that they could link to each other, and as such, whenever they did, Naruto's control over the wind became that of an elemental. Now, the two can link within seconds, where it used to take minutes. Now, however, was the time of the Genin exams. You'll do fine, Naruto-kun, you got this in the bag. The voice of Akane came through the mental link he managed to create 3 years ago. He still can't figure out how to free her yet. The two have become great friends since they met, and Naruto tries even harder to break the seal because of it. I know Akane-chan, but I want this to go right. One mistake, and it's all over. He had everything planned out, and he wasn't going to mess up after the test. I'm sorry Naruto, but you fail. Naruto looked taken aback, but inside, he was cackling like a madman. Phase 1 complete. Naruto was suspecting foul play ever since Mizuki started working with Iruka, so he purposely failed to find out what was up. Come on Iruka, he did technically create the clones. Why not just cut the kid a break? Mizuki asked. Now Naruto really knew something was up. Iruka just shook his head. I'm sorry, but rules are rules. These clones couldn't fool a 2-year-old, Iruka said bluntly. Naruto nodded, understanding. Before leaving the academy, he went to an old swing and sat down with a sad expression on his face. After a bit of waiting, Mizuki finally showed up. You know he really cares about you, he said. Then how come I still failed? Naruto asked. He doesn't want you to get hurt, and is trying to shelter you. He sees a lot of him in you, Mizuki stated. Wow, that sounded gay, Naruto said bluntly. Mizuki face faulted. Well, I shouldn't tell you about this, but there is a secret test. If you pass it, you get to pass and become a genin, and so the fun began. Later that night, getting the scroll wasn't hard. All he had to do was henge into a nude woman and the third was out like a light. He found the scroll with ease and headed off to the meeting area before opening the scroll. Alright, I might as well learn some techniques from this thing. Naruto opened the scroll and began to read down the list and write them down as he went. He created a group of Kage Bunshins and had them practice some of them. With the army of clones training, Naruto just sat back and kept his senses open. Eventually, all his clones dispatched, their jobs done. Just in time as when they dispelled, Iruka jumped into the clearing. Naruto, do you have any idea what you've done? He yelled at the kid. Yeah, I'm flushing out a traitor, Naruto said as if it was an everyday thing. Iruka blinked owlishly. Wait, what? Suddenly, a dozen or so shuriken came flying at them. Naruto, however, swatted them away as if it was nothing. There you are now, time to take you out, Naruto said. Mizuki jumped into sight, 2 shuriken on his back. Like you could defeat me. You don't even know what you are, do you? He said. All remnants of his sanity were lost. Oh, I know damn well what I am. I am from Kyuubi no Kitsune. Big fucking whoop, Naruto said dryly. Mizuki glared at him before throwing one of the oversized shuriken at Naruto. Naruto, however, just jumped over it. Is that the best you got? Try this. Mokuton. Ki no Tamashi no Ketsugo. Giant tree roots suddenly sprung out of the ground before tying up Mizuki's arms and legs. Raijin. Raijin no Akari. Suddenly, a giant cylinder of lightning surrounded Mizuki before slowly enveloping him with power 2 times that of a lightning bolt. When it dissipated, all that was left was a pile of ash. Iruka was shocked. Not only did Naruto just use Mokuton, he turned Mizuki into a pile of ash. Naruto, what the hell was that? Iruka said / asked. The Raijin no Ikari. Powerful, wasn't it? He said. Iruka nodded dumbly. How is it that Naruto managed this yet failed to pass the academy? Sure, he was the one who actually failed him, but with good reason. Naruto walked up to him. Well, now that's over. I say we return this thing now, Naruto said, picking up the scroll. Naruto, wait, Iruka said. Close your eyes. Naruto compiled before feeling something on his forehead. Alright, you can open your eyes now. Naruto did. Congratulations, you passed, he said with a smile on his face. Naruto just gave a small grin. Sarutobi was stunned. He watched the events unfold and was shocked when he saw Naruto use Mokuton, and nearly had a heart attack when he used the Raijin no Ikari. He knew the power it held and the chakra it needed. Hell, he created the move. And so when Naruto used it, he felt kind of proud. He's going to go far. I just know it. I have to get him back for knocking me out though, he said with a slightly evil chuckle. He suddenly realized something, however. Naruto uses Mokuton. His eyes widened as he summoned a tiny monkey. He started to scribble something on a black piece of paper. Hoshiro, I need you to take this note to Jiraiya. It is of the utmost importance that he receives it, he said. The monkey saluted before disappearing. He sat down and sighed. This was going to bring in a lot of paperwork. 5 days later, Naruto was walking into the academy, thinking about all that has happened in his life recently. I still can't break this damn seal. I'm just glad I'm able to keep Akane entertained. He broke out of his musing when the school came into school and he started to try to think of a way to make a scene. Oh, how he loved to scare people and to cause panics. He decided to simply take the ninja road and use stealth. Flipping his hood on, he released his true self before disappearing. In the classroom, Naruto managed to appear, undetected, in the room and hid in the corner. It's sad that I'm standing right here and nobody's even noticed me. He turned back into his human form and started to play the waiting game. Alright, everybody. Time to announce the teams. Naruto decided to tune out until his team was called. Team 7, Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno. A head hit a desk while cheering was heard from someone else, and Naruto Uzumaki. Both Sasuke and Sakura looked at him oddly. Iruka-sensei, I thought Naruto failed, she said. Iruka chuckled. He took a makeup exam and managed to pass. Sakura nodded, accepting the answer. Now Team 8, Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka, and Shino Aburame. Team 9 is still in circulation from last year. Team 10 is Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akimichi. That is all. He disappeared in a puff of smoke. Naruto just decided to fall asleep until it was time to leave. 2 hours later, he was woken up by Sakura screaming out, "They're 2 hours late! Where is our Baka teammate and sensei?" she yelled. Naruto and Sasuke both covered their ears. Suddenly, the door opened to reveal the one-eyed scarecrow. Naruto suddenly jumped up. "I know you!" he yelled, scaring his teammates. "What the? How long were you there?" Sasuke asked. "The entire time. Anyways, you're that one-eyed scarecrow I bought that book for," Naruto said. Kakashi's eyes widened. "That was you?" he said. Naruto nodded. "Yep, Ika, Mistress and Master, Gold Edition. Good book, I enjoyed it myself," Naruto said before pulling out his own Ika. "Wait, I've never seen that copy before. Where did you get it?" Kakashi asked. "This one isn't coming out for 2 more months. I managed to get my hands on this after winning a bet with them," he said with a giant smile. "And it's autographed," Naruto stated. Kakashi's eyes sparkled. "Any chance I could borrow it?" Kakashi asked with hope evident in his voice. "Yes, I managed to swindle copies from the old man," he chuckled darkly. "Alright, now to business. Everybody, to the roof." He disappeared in smoke, just like Irika, with Naruto following suit, only in a swarm of bats instead. We now have Naruto sitting next to Kakashi, both discussing Ika and the greatness that it holds. The 2 others finally made it up and were glaring at them for leaving them like that. "Sorry, anyways, could you please introduce yourselves, please?" he asked. Sakura looked at him before raising her hand. "I'm sorry, sensei, could you go first, please?" she asked. "Of course, I am Kakashi Hatake. I like none of your concerns. My dislikes might scare you. I have some hobbies, and as for dreams of the future, nothing in specific." Sasuke and Sakura both face-faulted at this. All we learned was his name. Sasuke thought to himself. "Alright, Pinky, you next." Sakura glared at him once more. "My name is Sakura Haruno. My hobbies are my hobbies." Every break involves her staring at Sasuke. "And my dislikes are Ino Pig and Naruto Baka," she yelled out. "Love you too," Naruto mumbled. "Alright, now you Mr. Broods a lot." Sasuke started to glare daggers at this point. "My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I have no likes or hobbies. I dislike everything, except Naruto-kun, and my dream is more of a goal. I will kill a certain someone and revive my clan," he said with conviction. "Alright, now your turn." He pointed to Naruto. "My likes are training, hanging out with friends, and Ika. My dislikes are rapists, arrogance, and some other things. My hobbies are reading, spending time with my friends, and training. My goal for the future is something I don't plan on sharing." Naruto finished. "Alright, now, we are going to have a little test tomorrow to see if you deserve the title of Shinobi." "What do you mean, sensei?" Sakura asked. Out of the entire graduating class, 66% is guaranteed to fail. You see, the test you took in the academy was just to see who had the potential to become Shinobi. There is still one more that is administered by the team's sensei. Now I suggest you don't eat breakfast, otherwise you might throw up." He finished before disappearing, with Naruto following suit. The next day, Naruto was a pervert. Granted, he tried to hide it, but he was a pervert. So when he woke up with Minin wearing the maid's outfit, which he saw quite often, when she woke him up, he fainted from blood loss, a smile on his face. "Naruto-sama, please wake up," she asked as she hugged his body tightly. Now, as stated before, he is a pervert, so when she did this, he was fighting a losing battle. Fine, you win," he admitted defeat. She smiled at him before getting off the bed. "Well, let's have breakfast, shall we?" He nodded and walked down the stairs. After he changed, granted. After breakfast, Minin shrunk and hid in his cloak, as she has been doing for the past couple of years, before he disappeared in a swarm of bats, like he did yesterday. He suddenly appeared at Training Ground 7 to see Sasuke and Sakura there looking tired, hungry, and ready to kill. He just opted to sit in a nearby tree and started to read his Ika. 5 minutes later, Kakashi appeared in a puff of smoke. "Yo," he said casually. Sakura stood up and pointed at him. "You're late," she screeched. The other 3 there covered their ears at the volume. "Sorry, I saw this cat carrying a hyatate and decided to follow it only to find out it belonged to a rogue nin from the land of ramen. He attacked me with a that summoned an empty ramen cup that trapped me, so I had to eat through it. After I beat him, I headed here." Everybody, except Naruto, face-faulted. "I heard he was nearby. Did you kill him or turn him in?" Naruto asked. "I tried to turn him in but he fled." Naruto nodded. "Shame, I was wanting to meet him." "Oh well," he said with a sigh. The other 2 just looked at them like they were crazy. Kakashi suddenly pulled out a timer from who knows where, and placed it on a stump. "You 3 have till noon to get these bells from me." He pulled out 2 small bells and tied them to his belt. "Those who do not have a bell by the time the timer goes off will be tied to a post, refused lunch, and sent back to the academy," he said. "But there are only 2 bells," Sakura said in a matter-of-fact tone. "Then I guess one of you is going back then," he said. "Go." Sasuke and Sakura disappeared while Naruto just stood in front of Kakashi, who pulled out his Ika. "So, any idea when the next one is coming out?" Kakashi asked. "I heard 5 months from now, but who truly knows? Naruto said as he shrugged his shoulders. He suddenly put up his book before starting a chain of hand seals. Mokutan. Shirzin no. Suddenly, roots sprout out before covering all of Kakashi's body, save his head, and 4 pillars of wood popped out of the ground. Tsukusasu. Spikes appeared on the 4 posts he summoned before said posts sped towards Kakashi, ready to impale him. That is until he disappeared in a puff of smoke. Damn, Naruto muttered. Kakashi suddenly appeared behind Naruto, kneeling, before making the tiger seal. Nice, but you should never let your opponent behind you. Leaf Village Hidden Finger Jutsu, 1000 Years of Death. He stabbed Naruto in the ass with his fingers. Suddenly, Naruto's expression turned to an evil grin. Boom. Suddenly, Naruto blew up, revealing that it was a clone. Kakashi, not expecting this, barely got out in time. Naruto jumped in front of Kakashi and sent a knee to his gut only for Kakashi to block it. Naruto used his momentum to swing himself so he was behind Kakashi, and sent a jab for his spine. Kakashi spun and caught the fist only for Naruto to use his momentum once more to perform a spinning backhand. Kakashi jumped back and looked at Naruto. He was using momentum for every attack. What do you think of my Ikkyu no Ken? It took me a few months to work out the kinks, he said before launching at Kakashi once more. No Gaijutsu. Sensei Kogiki. His entire body flew at him with speeds not even he could manage and took a shoulder charge to the gut, sending him flying. No Gaijutsu. Nijikagiki. Naruto disappeared once more only to appear where Kakashi was about to land and spun on his heel before kicking Kakashi in the chest, once more sending him flying. Naruto yet again disappeared only to appear under Kakashi. No Gaijutsu. Seido Sudaraiku. He sent an uppercut, shifting all momentum into the punch and hit Kakashi in the chest again, and smirked when he felt a couple of his ribs break. Kakashi was sent flying straight into the air as Naruto disappeared one last time only to appear above Kakashi. Nagar no Gaijutsu. Seigo no Sudareku. Naruto shifted all his weight and momentum into a giant, spinning kick which hit Kakashi dead in the face. They both landed, Kakashi in a heap, and Naruto on one knee. Damn, that hurt like a bitch, Naruto said. GGGHHP. Kakashi. Naruto limped over to Kakashi's down form and took the bells. Alright, Sasuke, Sakura, you can come out now. Both Sasuke and Sakura were shocked. Naruto just defeated their sensei. Naruto did something unexpected as he threw the 2 bells at them. Here, you 2 take them. I can wait another year, Naruto said. Sakura shook her head. I can't accept this, you did all the work. It wouldn't be right. Sasuke shook his head in agreement. Kakashi forced himself out of his crater and started to clap. Congratulations, you all passed, he said with an eye smile. They all looked at him like he was crazy. The true test was teamwork, and while Naruto may have done all the work, you proved yourselves by being willing to give up yourself for your teammates. So I say, welcome, Team 7. Sakura cheered while both Sasuke and Naruto smiled. Naruto was on his way home after another mission. He stared down at the ground and sighed. This was not what he signed up for. Then an idea struck him. He smirked almost evilly. He pulled his hood up before disappearing in a red and black pillar of chakra. Hey, I got a request from you, Naruto asked while walking up to the aging. Sarutobi appeared from his paperwork, which he hated with a passion, and smiled. Of course, what do you need, Naruto-kun? He asked kindly. Team 7 has completed the required amount of missions for a C-ranked mission. I would like for you to at least offer one tomorrow. Sarutobi furrowed his brow. I'm sorry, but I don't think any of you are ready just yet. You just graduated a month ago. Naruto frowned at this. But I managed to defeat Kakashi during our Genin test, and Sasuke and Sakura both can take on some bandits, Naruto said, slightly annoyed. Sarutobi sighed. I'm sorry, I just don't want you to go out there and get hurt. Naruto's frown grew bigger. How about a little wager? Naruto said with a sudden smirk plastered on his face. Oh, what kind of wager? He asked. You let me fight with A, of your choice, and if I win, you have to send us out on a C-ranked. But if I lose, I will think about teaching you the secret to defeating paperwork. The moment those words came out of his mouth, Sarutobi appeared on his knees in front of Naruto. You got yourself a deal. Anything to defeat the paperwork from hell, he said. Naruto's smirk grew even wider, causing his fangs to show. Well then, better get ready to pick out a mission, Naruto said, a crazed look now upon his face. He stepped towards the corner of the room and pulled his hood up before disappearing in the column of chakra he arrived in. Sarutobi stood up before shuddering. He waved his hand before one of his private ANBU appeared, kneeling before him. I need you to go get Guy. Tell him that I have a very important solo mission for him. The ANBU nodded before disappearing in a poof of smoke. Sarutobi rubbed his hands together with an evil smirk on his face. Soon he would no longer fear paperwork. Soon, he will rule over it. He started to cackle like a madman. Naruto was hanging on the ceiling and sweat dropped as his grandfather's figure seemed to snap. Guy, huh? This is going to be easy. No one will even see it coming. He smirked and disappeared, leaving no trace that he was ever there. 3 hours later, Naruto was walking aimlessly through the streets of Konoha, his hands behind his head as he stared at the sky. He stopped, however, when an ANBU member appeared before him. Without even exchanging words, the two disappeared in a poof of smoke. Naruto looked around to find himself back in the Hokage's office. Wow, 3 hours. And here I thought it would take 5, he said sarcastically. So, who am I going against? He asked. Sarutobi nodded his head to the side. Naruto looked over to the area in which he indicated to see a man wearing a green, skin-tight, spandex suit with a bowl cut and the largest pair of eyebrows he had ever seen, along with a flak jacket and his headband being worn as a belt. The man gave Naruto the good guy pose as light shined off of his teeth. That would be me, Naruto-kun, the man said. Ah, the infamous guy, Taijutsu master. Naruto smirked. I hope you provide a good challenge, he finished. Sarutobi coughed into his hand before staring at the two. Alright, for this match, we are going to be reporting to my personal training grounds, he said. Follow me, at an unknown location. Naruto looked around the large, and I mean large, clearing they were now standing in. Alright, where are we? He asked. I can't disclose that information. It is my private training grounds, after all, the professor said. Naruto let out a giant sigh but nodded. Alright, so, can we get this match started? Naruto asked. Sarutobi nodded his head and stared at Guy. Get ready for you two. Oh, and Guy, take it easy on the kid, he said before him and his 3 ANBU backpedaled to a safe distance. Hajime, he yelled out. Naruto flipped his hood on and disappeared in a black flash. Boo! Guy nearly jumped out of his suit and turned around to see Naruto standing there holding a blue katana. Consider Kuto no Gaijutsu. Chakarato, he said before trying to take Guy's head off with the thing. Guy narrowly avoided his beheading by crouching before sending a punch towards Naruto's gut only to hit a blue shield. Consider Kuto no Gaijutsu. Chakra Shurido, the metal plate dissipated to show Naruto lunging forward with his katana. Guy dodged by bending back, making a perfect 90-degree angle with his body, causing the blade to tear some of the suit and cut into his torso. He dropped to the ground and rolled as Naruto brought the blade down. He stood up before staring at the bleeding wound. "'Tis but a scratch," he yelled out. Naruto's sweat dropped but steeled himself once more and went on the offensive, going through a wide variety of techniques that none of them have even seen. "Shakura no Shaka Abu," he yelled out before swinging his blade in a wide, diagonal arc, sending a giant, crescent-shaped blast of chakra at Guy. The man started a chain of hand seals before holding his hands on his chest. "Saishinin no Sushurju San no Hano, Kukyoku no Hogo." A giant white flame erupted from where his hands were holding his chest and completely surrounded him. The chakra blast hit and tried to force itself through the flames. Eventually, the two techniques exploded, sending Guy flying from the area, unconscious. Sarutobi was utterly shocked. Naruto actually did it. Speaking of which, he looked over to see Naruto holding a bloody stump that used to hold his arm, which was nowhere to be seen, and was panting heavily. Sarutobi's eyes widened and he rushed over to Naruto, who was straightening from his slouched position. As the aged man made it to Naruto, he saw that the bleeding had stopped and that a dark red and black chakra was surrounding the wound, encasing it, before dissipating, showing a new arm in its place. Sarutobi was flabbergasted. Naruto just regrazed his own arm. "What the hell did you do?" he yelled. Naruto removed his hood and looked at him like he was retarded. "What does it look like? I regrew my arm," he deadpanned. "I know that, but how did you do it?" he asked. "That's for me to know and you to find out." Sarutobi took a moment to calm himself. After all, that was too much. "Alright, but what was that move you used?" he asked after getting his breathing under control. "Ah, the Chakura no Shaka Abu. A technique in which I focus a large amount of chakra in my sword, using my arm as the focus point. As I swing the blade, I release it through the tip in a burst, and send it flying just as the blade reaches the arc of its swing. The more chakra I pump into it, the stronger it is, but the more devastating the results, as you saw with my arm. I put enough chakra in it for it to be S-ranked in strength." Naruto finished. Sarutobi was gaping like a fish at this point while one of the ANBU, who had a cat mask, was drooling at the technique. "Could you teach me that?" she asked, hopefully. Naruto shook his head, causing her to deflate. Naruto walked over to her and patted her on the head. "Good girl," he said, causing her eye to twitch, not that any of them could tell with the mask. He pulled his hand back and stared at the, "Well, I guess I earned that C-ranked," he said. Sarutobi hunched over but nodded. Naruto chuckled and left his pillar of chakra. That's when it hit Sarutobi. "I forgot to ask about the chakra katana and shield," he said before hitting himself on the forehead. Nika walked up to him before blurting something out. "You could have had a V8. Sarutobi's eye started to twitch before he began to rub his temples. Naruto managed to beat two of his top competitors. With Naruto was walking through the forest panting heavily. He suddenly fell to his knees and put his hand over his face. "The insanity, the madness. It's growing," I can't hold on much longer. His arms went limp and he looked down. A small chuckle started to come from him and, before too long, turned to full-blown laughing. He snapped his head up, showing a crazed look on his face. As time went on, his laughter grew crazier. It's been too long. Yes, way too long. He stood up, that insane glint in his eyes. He turned around and made his way towards the village while activating his true form. However, he suddenly dropped to the ground, holding his head in pain. Must not submit. He let out a blood-curdling yell, sending out a wave of red chakra laced with killer intent all around him, tearing the ground to pieces and destroying anything caught in the blast. When everything calmed down, all that could be seen was Naruto kneeling there, panting. He stood up and made his way towards a hidden cavern he found in the Hokage monument. He didn't know what it was for, or who created it, but he knew that it helped deal with the insanity. He disappeared in a flash and appeared at the entrance before entering. He couldn't flash into the place for some reason. He sat down on a small futon and tried to calm himself down. It has never been this strong before. He needed to find a way to deal with it. He stood up and made towards one of his pastimes whenever he had to come here, explore and see what he could find. He walked down through a small, hidden crawlspace that opened up into a giant hallway. He made his way down, opening his senses in hopes of finding something new. As he was walking down through another corridor, he picked something up. He made his way over to a boulder that seemed to block an entrance to something. He focused as much as he could and found what he was looking for. He walked over to the wall next to the boulder and placed his hand on a symbol of a fawn. The boulder suddenly slid into the wall, revealing that it was actually a door. He walked into the new room to see it full of scroll, with one in particular on a podium in the middle of the room. He made his way over to the scroll and checked for traps. Finding none, he picked it up and opened it. He read the contents, and soon his face contorted to one of shock. This scroll detailed vampiric culture and history. He made 50 kage bunshin and had them go read some of the other scrolls. By the time he had finished the large scroll, most of his clones had managed to find something to keep them occupied. "Boss, come look at what I found," one of the clones shouted. Naruto stood up and walked over to find the clone holding a scroll titled The Vampire's Madness. He picked it up and began reading to find, to his shock, that it detailed everything about the insanity, from the symptoms to how to deal with it. Insanity is caused by a vampire overusing their power, causing their mind to go towards the darkness, and causing them to fall into madness. Naruto flinched at this. He then read how the only way to defeat it was to, well, defeat it. The insanity was located somewhere deep in the person's subconscious, and one would have to find it, fight it, and win. And if one were to lose, they would lose control over their body to the insanity. If they won, however, they would become even stronger, being able to control the effects of the insanity to help in battle. However, Naruto could tell he was not ready yet, and if he tried just yet, he would fail. He rolled the scroll back up and placed it back in its place. Another clone ran up to him with a look of excitement on its face. "Boss, you gotta check this out, follow me." Naruto nodded and followed the clone to eventually find a hidden room. At the end of the room, there was a set of armor behind a cage. He walked up to it and read a plaque under it. "Only those of pure can hope to achieve the power hidden well beneath. For you to win, you must lose. For you to gain, you must remove. The key to victory is both heart and mind, body and soul. The power of balance will guide you and show you the light. Intus tenebris." Naruto read the riddle, and after a moment, the clone spoke up. "What does it mean?" it asked. Naruto took up a thoughtful expression. He started a chain of hand seals and blew out a stream of fire into the middle of the room, lighting it up more. He saw some hidden torches and redirected the flames to light them. Once he finished, he saw 4 more plaques under each torch. He walked up to one of them and read it aloud. "I am yourself in feeling and thought, but have no form. Show the path in which is right, and I will lead you towards the light." He took a moment to think. This plaque must be mined, so the other plaques represent parts of the riddle. He went towards another and read aloud once more. "I can feel and I can touch, but without life, I am worthless. Into the truth, the lies are shown. Into the light, the dark revealed. This one is obviously the body, but I sense something more." The passages at the end seemed to point to how to solve the riddle. He walked over to a third plaque and began to read. "I ache in hope, feeding one with happiness and sorrow. Through triumph, failure is forgiven. Through loss, gain is recognized." Now this is just getting idiotic. He started after reading the clue. He sighed and walked over towards the last one, which he guessed was soul. "I am in both life and death, one's true being and self. Do not stand over what is lost, but fight for what is gained." Alright, so, what does it mean? Naruto tried to make sense of it all, even summoning more clones to help, and after 34 minutes, they finally figured it out. He put out torches involving loss and darkness. Suddenly, the room was filled with a bright light, which was being emitted from the central plaque. The gate started to lift, giving access to the armor. Once the shining dimmed down, he walked over and noticed that the plaque's writing had changed. "Balance in life is good, but hold on to the truth. Do not fall, but climb instead." nihil verum est omnia licet. Naruto was puzzled about this for a moment, and agreed with it. He would not fall. He took out the armor to find it very light. The entire thing was black, with the torso having a hood and a cape that could cover his entire upper body but be removed if necessary. The lower part was similar to robes, but still allowing movement, along with pouches for storage. The vambraces were a combination of metal and leather, with metal slides under them, and the greaves covered most of his lower leg, allowing protection from lower attacks. He put on the armor and noticed rings on the vambraces. He put them on and pulled, seeing a thread attached. Blades popped out of the slides and stayed attached. He pulled once more and the blades retracted. Nice, very nice. He flipped the hood up and looked back to see a sword stationed behind where the armor was earlier. He picked it up to find it nearly weightless and sharp. The blade was serrated and curved, a standard katana trait. The guard had 3 edges, with a curved point at each. The handle was covered in red leather with a black skull at the end. What intrigued him most, however, was the sense of death and dread coming from it, yet mixed with a calming and peaceful aura. He placed it in the scabbard that was next to it. He placed it on his back and left, but not before creating another 100 clones and setting them to reading some more of the library's content. He made his way home, making sure to avoid cutting through the village. When he arrived, he saw Mineem sitting on the couch reading a magazine. "Hello Mineem, how have you been?" he asked as he entered. She suddenly jumped, having not sensed him. "Fine. How about you, Naruto-sama?" she asked before noticing his new appearance. "Fine. Got some new armor and weapons," he said before sitting down next to her. "Beat Mato guy in a fight, lost an arm," he said as if it was an everyday thing. "You overloaded the Chikura no Shaka Abu again, huh?" Naruto nodded. "Master, you have to be careful. You can only heal so much," she said. "I know, but it was funny to see the old man's face when he saw me missing an arm, and hilarious when I regrew it." He chuckled, remembering the awestruck face of the third. Naruto's face grew grim, however, after remembering the lapse he had earlier. "It's getting worse. I lost control earlier," he said, looking down. Mineem's eyes widened. "I found out how to deal with it, though I fear I'm not strong enough to go about it yet," he muttered. Mineem scooted over to him and wrapped her arms around him. Naruto looked up and smiled slightly at her. "Well, it's pretty late. How about I make dinner?" Mineem said before standing up and heading towards the kitchen. The next day, Naruto got his normal wake-up call, Mineem laying next to him and whispering into his ears, and it tended to follow with him looking at the cause of his disturbance only to see her laying there in her maid outfit, which she practically always wears around the house. He tends to wake up with a headache a lot, due to his head hitting the wall from being sent flying with a rocket nosebleed. Naruto got dressed in his normal attire and put on the armor, foregoing his cloak due to said armor. After breakfast, he made his way towards the team's training grounds. When he got there, he sat in a tree and decided to take a nap. He still had an hour until Kakashi got there after all. He was woken up from his dreaming when he heard Sakura yell out at their tardy-sensei. "Where were you, sensei? And where's Naruto?" she asked/yelled. Naruto took this moment to make his appearance. He jumped from his tree limb and landed in the middle of the group in a crouch, scaring the shit out of all of them. "Right here," he said nonchalantly. They all looked at him with varying expressions. Sasuke's was impassive, Sakura's was shocked, and Kakashi was watching a butterfly that was flying around. "Naruto, you seem different somehow. Did you get a haircut?" Kakashi asked. Naruto's sweat dropped at this. "You can't even see my hair. I have my hood up," he stated. Kakashi adopted a thoughtful pose. "You're taller." He ended up on the receiving end of a massive punch that even Tsunade would envy. "Jackass," Naruto muttered under his breath. After Kakashi managed to make it back to the group, he coughed. "Well, you know the drill, let's go." They all nodded and made their way towards the tower. When they walked into the office, Sarutobi looked up and smiled. The smile was short-lived, however, when he saw Naruto's armor. "And Naruto, is that you?" he asked carefully. Naruto nodded. "Where did he get that armor? I thought Minato locked it up. How does Naruto have it?" he mused, still in shock of seeing Naruto in the armor. "Where did you get that armor?" he asked, his voice trembling. "I found it locked in a cave," Naruto said. Sarutobi started to tremble. "Naruto, that armor, and that sword, they belong to the fourth," he said, a large amount of fear in his voice. Now was Naruto's time to be shocked. Everyone in the room stared at him in shock. "What?" Naruto asked, wide-eyed, not that anyone could tell. "He said that one day, someone would be able to open the seal that held it, but I never thought that I would see the day. That armor is very powerful. Dare say, demonic." Sarutobi started remembering what Minato told him about it. "Be careful," he finished. Naruto nodded his head slightly. Then he realized something, but kept it to himself. "Well, let's get off of this subject," Naruto said. Sarutobi nodded in agreement. "Well, as per our agreement, your team is allowed to go on a C-ranked mission, and I got the perfect one picked out. Send in Tazuna," he suddenly yelled out. After the words left his lips, an old man, probably somewhere in his late 50s, stumbled into the room holding a bottle of sake and reeking of alcohol. What's this? I hired ninja, not a bunch of snot-nosed brats, he slurred. Don't worry, Tazuna-san. If anything happens I am a, so you are perfectly safe, Kakashi said, eye smiling. Tazuna grumbled but conceded. Well team, go home and pack for a. Wait, what is the mission anyways? Kakashi asked. Oh yes, I forgot to tell you. You are to escort Tazuna back to his home and protect him until the bridge he is building is finished, Sarutobi said while scratching the back of his head. Okay, well then, pack for a 1-month escort mission. Meet me at the north gate, Kakashi said. They all nodded before leaving. When Naruto made it back to his home, he went to his room and began sealing away the essentials. Clothes, food, Ika, things like that. After he finished, he went downstairs and bid farewell. Mine wished him luck as he left. When he made it there, he found the rest of the team, as well as Tazuna, waiting there. What took so long? Sakura asked, aggravated. Sorry, my house is on the other side of the village, Naruto said. Well, now that everyone is here, let's head off, Kakashi said cheerfully before spinning on his heel and marching out of the village. As they made their way towards their destination, Naruto felt an odd sense of discomfort. He looked behind him to see Sakura glaring at him. Sakura, why in the 9 levels of hell are you staring at me? Naruto asked. You're becoming more and more like Kakashi each day, you know that, she said. Naruto shrugged his shoulders. Is that really a bad thing? He asked. Yes, she deadpanned. Naruto rubbed his chin for a moment before focusing on a puddle. He stopped mid-step and let the others pass him before walking up to it, and, after some work with the armor, started to piss right in it. Soon, 2 guys jumped out of it, both covered in piss. What the fuck? What's wrong with you? One of them asked. Seriously. Damn, the other said while trying to shake the piss off of him. The onlookers just sweat dropped at the scene. Well, sorry, you guys just really pissed me off. Naruto chuckled at his pun. That was a horrible joke. Seriously, don't quit your day job, one of the 2 said. You know, isn't this the time in which you try to, I don't know, kill us? Naruto said. The 2 took up an attack stance that would fit their chain and claws only to find their gauntlet arms bound by their own chain and 2 kunai at their necks. Now, that wasn't nice. You 2 give? Naruto asked with an innocent voice that still managed to promise pain. The 2 mumbled a small yes and Naruto tied them up. Now, what do you 2 want? Naruto asked. Like we'll tell you that, the brother on the left said. Fine, be like that. Naruto pulled out 2 acorns and placed them in front of them before igniting them with a. But if you don't tell me what I want to know, your punk-ass balls are going to be in worse shape than those acorns. Please tell me. I don't want to have to do that, he said. The 2 neens paled. We were hired to kill the bridge builder by Gato of Gato Industries, along with Zabuza Momochi, they said fearfully. Naruto nodded. Congratulations, you just saved your manhoods. Naruto walked up to Tazuna and started to speak. This is more than a C-ranked. If anything, it's an A-ranked mission, Naruto said. I know, but we couldn't afford to pay for an A-ranked. We barely managed to pay for a C-ranked. Gato has been oppressing us for a long time, causing people to go homeless, to starve. Any money that people make is lost not too soon after. This bridge is our only hope. With it, we will be able to send and receive goods by land, and not by sea. He will lose his hold. Please help. You may be our only hope in finishing this bridge, Tazuna pleaded. I'll help, Naruto said. I agree. Sasuke nodded. Sakura nodded in agreement. Kakashi let out a deep sigh and stared at his 3 charges. 4 if you count Tazuna. Is this really what you want? They all nodded. Fine, we will protect you. But if things get too hot, me and my team are leaving, Kakashi said, feeling a headache come on. Thank you, you won't regret this, Tazuna said, teary-eyed. Naruto walked over to the demon brothers and began to rummage through their pockets, much to their irritation. To add insult to injury, he stole their clothes as well, leaving them in white tank tops and their boxers. What the hell? Naruto started to laugh. I just felt like being a dick, Naruto said before burning the clothes and sealing the gauntlets. See ya, he said as he walked off, leaving the 2 tied up, almost naked, and covered in piss. You know Naruto, that was cruel, Kakashi said as he walked beside him. Naruto shrugged his shoulders. Do you really care? Kakashi chuckled. Good point, he stated. The group eventually made it to a small rowboat, the guy inside wearing a wide-brimmed straw hat. They all got inside the boat and sat quietly. Well, Sakura was talking with Tazuna, but other than that, they eventually made it to the other end and got off, with Tazuna wishing the boat owner luck. They continued their trek following Tazuna's instructions. Naruto suddenly threw a kunai at the bushes beside him and looked around. We're not alone, he said. Get down, Kakashi yelled as he pulled Tazuna down to the ground. A giant sword came careening towards the group and just barely missed decapitating all of them, before sticking into a nearby tree. A man wearing gauze around his mouth and a headband slanted on the side of his head. He was wearing a dark black muscle shirt with a gray, unbuttoned vest and black baggy pants, and combat boots. Zabuza Momochi, Demon of the Mist, Kakashi said. What an honor for the great Kakashi no Sharingan to know of me, he said sarcastically. He jumped from the tree and ripped the sword free. "Hand me the bridge builder and I might just let you live," he said menacingly. Kakashi's hand shot up to his headband and pulled it upright, revealing his left eye, which was red with 3 tomo in it, all of which were spinning. "Oh ho, the Sharingan already? Now this is an honor," Zabuza said before laughing. "Protect the bridge builder. I'll take care of Zabuza." A mist started to envelope the area as Zabuza's voice broke through. "Are you absolutely sure about that?" he asked, his voice echoing all around them. Suddenly, a crushing force was brought upon the group as Zabuza released his ki. Kakashi started to match it while flaring his chakra all the while. Suddenly, the feeling stopped and the area around Tazuna cleared, revealing Naruto blocking a swing from Zabuza's sword with his own. He was struggling, however, due to Zabuza being the stronger party. He didn't have to fight as long as Kakashi appeared and sunk a kunai in Zabuza's gut. However, when things seemed well, water started to pour out of the wound. Kakashi was suddenly cut in half by Zabuza's sword only for him to turn to water as well. Zabuza found a kunai at his neck and Kakashi behind him. "How did he manage to copy my bunshin?" he thought. Zabuza brought his foot back, kicking Kakashi in the process. He then spun his sword, intent on taking Kakashi's life, who managed to, barely, block the strike with his kunai. The force of the swing sent him over to a lake. He noticed something wrong, however, as he was standing on the water. Strange, this water is denser than normal, and it's saturated with chakra. His eyes widened as realization struck him. Zabuza appeared next to him and before Kakashi could move, he was surrounded by a sphere of water, unable to move. "Run! Take Tazuna and run!" he yelled out. Naruto stepped in front of Tazuna. "Sorry Kakashi, even if we did, he would just kill you and come after us. Besides, those who break the rules are trash, but those who abandon their teammates are worse than trash. You yourself told us that." Sasuke walked up beside Naruto and crossed his arms. "Naruto's right. We won't leave you," he said. Sakura walked and stood on the other side of Naruto and nodded her head. Kakashi cursed. "Well, looks like your kids are either really brave or really stupid," Zabuza said. A clone appeared out of the water and rushed them and swung his sword. Naruto jumped over it while Sasuke pulled out a kunai and tried to block it. Sakura jumped to her left and managed to dodge. She had to dodge again as Sasuke was sent flying at her. Naruto appeared where Sasuke was going to land and caught him. The force of the hit managed to knock Sasuke out, however. Naruto placed Sasuke down and stared at Zabuza. He unsheathed his sword and rushed at Zabuza. He swung his sword diagonally only for his sword to be blocked. He started a chain of slices and jabs, only for the clone to block or dodge every single one. Eventually, Naruto made a mistake, and Zabuza capitalized on it. He went to impale the clone only for Zabuza to dodge, causing him to stumble. Zabuza sent a kick into his gut, and brought the flat of his sword on his head, smashing him into the ground. Naruto rose up onto his knees and watched as Zabuza raised the sword, ready to finish him off. Then it happened. The feeling came back. The insanity came and fought. His vision started to blur, as he saw the blade inch closer. "Shit," he mumbled before losing consciousness and succumbing to the madness. His hand raised and grabbed the blade, stopping it centimeters from his face. He looked up with an insane glint in his eyes and a mad smile on his face. Faster than anyone could see, Naruto punched the clone and sent it back. "The fool. He doesn't even know the true potential of this sword," he said as he held up his sword. He swung it horizontally in front of Zabuza, sending out a wave of ice and freezing the area around him. His eyes widened as he was overtaken by the cold. Naruto focused a mass amount of chakra into the blade and did a wide swing around his body with the blade, and just as he reached the arc, released the mass of chakra in a wave, the color being a menacing dark red and black. "Shinka Shita Shigikiya," Naruto yelled as he released the burst. The clone raised his blade only for the chakra to slice through it like butter along with the clone itself. He started to laugh. And not just a normal laugh, but the laugh of someone who just escaped from the funny farm. In Naruto's mindscape, Naruto opened his eyes to see the forest area of his mind. He rose up as fast as he could and looked around. The forest was on fire. The earth was crumbling. His mind was falling. He ran to where Akane's house was located to find it crumbling and burning. His eyes widened and he rushed inside, bursting through the fire, blocking the door. "Akane!" he yelled out. "Akane! Naruto-kun? Help!" He heard her screams and ran towards the directions. He saw her stuck under a pile of rubble and ran over to her aid. She ripped the beam that was on top of her off and pulled her out of the building before checking to make sure she was okay. He was relieved when he noticed she was going to be okay, and laid her now unconscious form on the grass. He ran towards the part of his mind that represented his thoughts, memories, and all other things of that nature and stared at a door with broken locks near it. He ran inside to see a copy of him, only in his true form, standing there with vampiric chakra surrounding him. Naruto ran over to him and sent a kick into his gut, breaking his hold, giving him the chance to subdue him. Chains appeared and wrapped around the clone, tying it up and giving Naruto a chance to stop him. "Let me go! Damn it! I will win! I will get control. This isn't over, the clone yelled out in outrage. Naruto glared at the copy with nothing but contempt. So long as I breathe, you will not win, Naruto said maliciously. He left the room and locked away, new locks forming around the door. When he made it back to the forest, he saw that all the destruction had stopped, and everything that was destroyed was being reformed. He sighed in relief seeing as he had managed to hold the insanity off for a little longer. He decided now would be the best time to leave, and so he closed his eyes and left, but he didn't appear where he thought he would. What happened outside? Naruto sheathed his sword and rushed at Zabuza, releasing his hidden blades before slamming his left one into Zabuza's right shoulder and cutting his left. Due to Zabuza managing to move his shoulder out of the way some, he jumped back, ripping the blade out of his shoulder. He grabbed his sword off of his back and brought it in front of him, just in time as Naruto nearly impaled him on the blade. Naruto started a series of hard swipes with such speed and voracity that Zabuza's blade started to crack under the strain. Eventually, Naruto gave one more vertical strike, cutting through Zabuza's sword and chest. Naruto then hit Zabuza in the side with the flat of his sword, sending him into a tree. He walked over to him and stared at his downed form, and just when he was about to deliver the finishing blow, he gripped his head and started to yell out. Let me go! Damn it! I will win! I will get control! This isn't over! He yelled out before suddenly falling to the ground with dark red chakra sparking off of him every so often. Kakashi rushed over to Naruto and checked on his vitals, and, after finding him alright, sighed in relief. What was that? Did Kyuubi take control? He mused to himself as he covered his Sharingan. He looked over to where Zabuza was just to find him missing. Tazuna, can you carry Sasuke? I'll take Naruto and follow you, Kakashi said. Tazuna nodded his head. Just what are these shinobi? Tazuna wondered. The end. Thanks for watching my video, and make